team collaboration. So Deborah Weiner is giving her speech out of team collaboration, her icebreaker, and it is called Intuition. Is that the title? Correct? So
Yes, it
Deborah
is.
Weiner, Intuition, Deborah Weiner.
You know, I was talking to my son Aaron the other day, and he said to me, Mom, when we go on our trip to Park City, Utah this summer, do you want to go down a bobsled? He's trying to figure out which activities to sign me up for. I said, Aaron, do you know that when I was 10 years old, I went down a sled in the snow and broke my nose? So no, I don't want to go down a bobsled. Thank you. When I was 10 years old, I did go down a sled down a very steep hill, Dunhill Park, and I was prodded by my sister and my best girlfriend, Julie, and they were saying, "Oh, come on, Debbie, go down that sled. You can do it. You can do it." And I was really afraid, but I just couldn't say no because I was used to not saying no because my intuition had been put in a box for a later time. So I went down that sled, and anybody that's ever been on a sled knows that all you can do is steer. You might have a rope, but I don't remember having one, so you can slow yourself down. And the only way I knew to slow down was to run into a tree, which I did, and broke my nose. Ouch. I went, and unfortunately, my mother didn't even take me to the doctor. So I had to go through high school with that crooked nose, besides the fact that I could only breathe through one side of it. One of my messages to you is like, how many of you use a GPS navigation system to find your destination? I think most of us today in this world do. And that GPS system is a place that you put your address and your goal. And if you want to listen to the voice that takes you there, you can do it. Easy, right? Well, there's even shortcuts to get to your destination, or challenges or alternate routes you can take that take you there easily. And this navigation system is the same as our internal navigation system, which is called our intuition, which is something we're all born with. Now, some of us are really attuned to our navigation system, our intuition, and some of us, like me, didn't even know that we had this thing called intuition, that we could ask ourselves for the answers to all the things that we would want to know in life. That I've just put mine again in a box to use at a later time in life, because I was brought up in a very dysfunctional and abusive household when I grew up. And so I turned off my navigation system so that I wouldn't feel. And not feeling meant I could get through all the abuse that I had to endure. The problem is when you put your intuition away, you also put your identity away. You don't know who you are. So you don't feel, and you disconnect, and you're really not all here. But you also don't know who you are because you're just used to people pleasing and saying yes, so that you will be in your mind safe. If you people please, you think, oh, well, I'm safe because I'm doing what everybody wants me to do. But you're not really connecting to your own feelings. What do I need? What do I want? And when I grew up, that wasn't really important. But one of my messages to all of you is that you don't have to be brought up in an abusive childhood to not be connected to your intuition. You could come from maybe an overly strict household, or maybe an overly permissive household, or just had some trauma, or for some reason you just weren't taught that you had a choice to think for yourself and to ask yourself, how do I feel? And to be able to express that to someone and to get your needs met. I learned that throughout life that my navigation system was kind of like being, on a stoplight. So I finally, when I would connect to it during my lifetime, during certain times in my lifetime, it would kick in. And there were certain times I didn't know it was my intuition, but I just know that I would have a message and I would figure out a way to do something positive for myself. I know that when my gut and my heart was feeling anxious, there was a clear message from my intuition telling me to stop. The stoplight said, do not proceed. This is not a choice you should make. Or when my yellow light would come on, it would say, I think I should think about this before I make a decision. And then when the green light came on, occasionally it was like, oh, no problem, just go. And occasionally that would be a right choice. And there's also times that when we are listening to our bodies, it's important that we are listening to the messages our bodies give us, because that is, for me, I'm a feeling person. So that's my navigation system telling me, listen to me, listen to me. Some people hear things, some people see things, some people just know things, but mine is a feeling intuition. And so I get clear messages, but which most of my life I've just overrode them. I just didn't even listen to them. I would be feeling, my gut would be churning inside, and I would just do what I needed to do to feel safe. So one way I would like to just give a message to people that you could connect to your intuition more deeply if you are connected to your intuition, or you could connect to your intuition if you don't know that you're not connected to your intuition, is to just take a breath and to sit still. Because I know most of my life I have been busy, 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 so that I didn't have to feel, and therefore I couldn't be connected to my intuition because I was busy, busy, busy to avoid feeling. So take a deep breath, everyone. Close your eyes and just be still for a moment. And take a moment to just feel what you feel in your body, or what you hear, or just be quiet and see or feel or hear. Actually, nothing is good. Just to be still and
Deborah,
connect.
you're at 6:30 or at 5:30 right now. Just want to let, 6:30? 6:30? Yes, 6:30.
And to be still is when we are being, and we cannot connect to our intuition if we're not being still and being. And we need to learn to understand that we're humans, and well, we are spirits in human bodies, and we are not here to be doing humans doing. We're here to be humans being. So I just wanted to let you give a message that it's never too late to connect to your intuition, to learn who you are, what your purpose is, and why you're here. I'm still learning who I am. And I wanted to invite all of you, or just let all of you know, that it's never too late. You too can connect to your intuition and be at peace.
Thank you, Deborah. And now, Andrea, would you put a minute on the clock while I quickly write up my notes? Thank you.
Okay, that's a minute.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go to Maureen, and I think I'm timing that. Am I timing that?
No.
Yes, I am. Okay, hold on a second, Maureen. And Andrea, you're going to introduce her. Do you have her evaluation form?
Oh, I sent it to you, Michelle, because
I know
didn't
you did.
realize
So
answering.
Andrea, just take notes and I'll send it to you later.
I
Okay,
actually do have the evaluation form that I got off of Kathleen sent them.
okay, great.
So
Great.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm
okay.
just looking for my Toastmasters.
My
Here it is.
speech is called From Darkness to Light.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay.
And we have 5 to 7 minutes. Is that correct? Yes. We're all
Yes.
set. Okay, so go ahead and introduce her. Just say Maureen Xavier, Darkness to Light, Maureen Xavier.
Okay.
And
Great.
she can begin.
This speech is Maureen Xavier, From Darkness to Light. From Darkness to Light, Maureen Xavier.
I was driving on the freeway on my way to an accounting job that I had had for about 3 years, where I did cash flow planning and financial projections. If you were sitting in the car next to me, you would have seen my hands tightly clenched around the steering wheel. You would have seen a furrowed brow, and you would have seen a clenched jaw. You could have felt the tension in the car so thick, you could cut it with a knife. You might have noticed I was thinking really hard. You might have even asked me to take a breath because you felt like you were being suffocated and you wanted to breathe. I was in such tremendous physical pain. The kind of pain that you imagine a dog feels if he was to venture outside of that imaginary electrical fence. I had been in pain 24/7 for over a year. And I was desperate. I was hopeless. I had wanted to commit suicide for the past 3 months. I had the idea that the way to get out of pain was to leave my body. What was different about this day was that I was finally willing to pick up the phone and ask for help. So back to sitting in the seat next to me. You would have seen me pick up the phone, on the car phone, dial the phone. I reached out to my spiritual teacher that I had had for over 5 years. You see, I had been on a conscious, committed spiritual journey for 5 years. My teacher, Dr. David Kamnitzer, said to me 3 weeks in, this is a journey. This is a one-way journey. This is a journey that you are never going to recover from. Little did I know what I was getting myself into at the time. So I was talking to him about how desperate I was, about how for the prior months I had imagined driving to the Golden Gate Bridge. I imagined where I'd park. I imagined what it would be like to jump off. I would imagine what it would be like going in that gun store and looking in the glass case and what was involved to buy a gun. While this is nothing to laugh about and nothing I'm noticing, so I'm paying attention to my voice as I'm talking. My voice was a little bit lively, a little bit open as I was talking about those things. And actually, as I'm sitting here talking today, I'm grateful that I'm not going into tears the way I usually do when I talk about this day, because at some level I have broken through, and I am now able to talk about this without wanting to get in the floor in the corner and just go like this. So I was on the phone with Dr. David Kamnitzer, and I was telling him about how desperate I was. And he said, you know, just because you get out of pain, just because you leave your body doesn't mean you get out of pain, right? And actually, I had no idea. That was actually an entirely new thought for me. I had been being, up until that point, inside of a fantasy that my being in my body was the source of my pain. That day, that specific conversation forever changed the trajectory of my life. Never again have I had the desire or inclination to commit suicide. That day set in motion something I never imagined would be possible. Within weeks after that conversation, I showed up at a spiritual women's circle, something I had been doing for a while, but quit doing when I was in accounting. Within 6 months of that day, I had been invited to learn to channel divine guidance. I had gone to Mexico for a deep dive spiritual journey. I had my DNA had been broken apart and put back together within a matter of days. That conversation opened me to the possibility of being and doing what I do today. I channel divine guidance, spirit, Mother Mary, Melchizedek, Joshua, dead people. They all talk through me now. And part of the reason why I was wanting to commit suicide is that I was still trapped in the box of my mind. I was still identified as my mind. While I haven't completely graduated from being that I am my mind, now I have a very open channel, a very amazing ability to have spirit work through me. Why I do the work I do today is because I know what it's like to be on a spiritual journey. I know what's required in order to be and break through the limitations that bind you. I know what it's like to be a transformational leader who has a mission in the world and the planet, and also who also for a period of time felt like she wanted to die when she had gone back to doing accounting for a while. My commitment to you, to the planet, to the world, is to be and express the love that I am. My desire for you is to learn to connect to and to be and express the love that you are in a way that is easy, in a way that is flowing, in a way that is light, in a way that is alive. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be very fast. If this is something you'd like to know more about, if you'd like to connect with me more about my journey, or if you'd like to share with me about your journey, please reach out. I'd love to connect with you so that you can be the leader that you know you truly are and express the love that you came to express. Thank you.
All right, great job. Let me take this off. Oh, there we go. All right, so I will put a minute on my timer, and Andrea, you can go ahead and compile your notes. I'm gonna, just a second. Go ahead. Okay, Andrea, your time is up. Let me get out of my timer setup. And next, I'm going to be giving my evaluation of Deborah Weiner. And Andrea, are you timing me? Let me see. No, Maureen is timing me. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so let me get my notes. Okay, so Deborah, can you see me? Am I on the screen? Okay. I'm going to put you in my eye view. Deborah, really, really great story. Great speech. I'm going to discuss the speech with my acronym WHY. What, how, and why. So the what is in your speech and how is it organized. And you did a great job of opening the topic of intuition by the example of the sledding ride in which you broke your nose, in which you had already turned off your internal compass and was only interested in doing what people were telling you to do. Great introduction of a topic, great example of how when we don't listen to our intuition, we can really get in trouble. So you explain also how it is that you shut down, that you were in an abusive family, and that this caused you to want to be a people pleaser because you wanted to keep yourself safe. So these are really, really great psychological ideas that people out in your audience can relate to. I can certainly relate to it. And then you made the point that you don't have to be an abusive family in order to have that kind of situation where you shut off your intuition. You also go on to explain to us how it is that you started to become aware of your intuition and how it would give you a red light or a yellow light or a green light, which was a great relationship with what we do in Toastmasters. It was a great illusion. And I also want to comment on, in the end, you invite us to do an exercise in which we actually learn how to calm down in order to learn to listen to our intuition, which was really great. It's too bad that you ran out of time, because I would really like to see you develop that call to action and ending a little stronger. So I would say your main weakness is your timing and practicing your speech so that you fulfill your timing. But this was way more organized than I've ever seen you give a speech before. So I think you have made major, major improvements. Now, why? How is how you express your story, and you have a great connection with your audience. You really look at your audience, and you were doing facial expressions. You touched your nose, you touched different parts of your body to express your emotion, but subtly, not over the top. And I like that aspect of you, how you share your story in a way that is accessible, but not overly dramatic. And then finally, the why, which is, why is this important? Well, we all need to learn to use our intuition. And you really invited us to become aware of our intuition so that we didn't break our noses. Great job, Deborah. And now we need to have Andrea give her evaluation of Maureen. And let's see, I think I'm doing that, am I? No, Deborah, you're doing that. Can you do the timing on that? So, Andrea,
Yes.
you're on.
Awesome. Maureen, this is the first time I've ever heard you speak, and I am so impressed. I have to say that your story is so relatable and expressed so well. I was really wrapped up in your story as you were telling it, and you were using pauses to create tension and anticipation. I was just waiting to hear what you were going to say next. It was gripping, and throughout, you're using facial expressions, you're using your voice, you're using your gestures to enhance that story, and to invite people in as well. And I thought that was something that you did extremely well. Some of the high points, or the interesting sort of attention grabbing points in your story, was when you were talking about the one-way journey. There was something about that section that really appealed to my interest. And when you were talking about imagining what it would be like to walk into a gun store, and I was feeling that. I was there in your shoes. That was extremely moving to me. I found myself very hard pressed to find sort of stretch goals and ways that you could challenge yourself. I had to really reach for that. And I will just say, one of the things that I noticed was occasionally there was a bit of a stumble on the words. You knew what you were going to say, but it was just a little bit of a hiccup. That happened a couple of times. And, and then that made me wonder, what is your comfort level when you're sharing this, particularly in those moments during the stumble. I don't know if those two things are related, but that was a thought that I had. But overall, I was just loving your speech. The call to action at the end was really nicely done, and very welcoming. I feel that anyone who heard that speech that is relating to your topic would feel very comfortable coming to you and saying, hey, I want to speak with you about this. And I am just, very interested and fascinated to hear about how you communicate with the spiritual world. So thank you for sharing that with us. And it's really a pleasure to hear you speak for the first time.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. And so now I'm going to go ahead, and I could probably use a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the evaluation right now because I've been taking my notes. And hey, I've been on Toastmasters Time TV where you do not get any time to give to write your notes down. You just have to go out there and give your evaluation. So Deborah, are you going to time this also? Thank you. Andrea, really excellent job for your first evaluation. Oftentimes, the first time you give an evaluation, or at least the first time I gave an evaluation, I was focusing on all the things that were wrong in the speech. And you went right to all the things that are right in a speech. And science actually shows that people have more improvement even if they only get positives. So you never err on the side of pointing out what was good with the speech. And you pointed out a lot of things. You mentioned that you were impressed, that it was relatable, that you found her pauses gripping. I love the word. It really did capture, because Maureen's story was very gripping. And you mentioned her facial expression and her gestures and how she invited people in. And you talked about the high point of her one-way journey where she was imagining killing herself. And so you really picked out like the real high point of the story. I mean, gosh, she got to that point. And then you talked about the stretch goals, and you mentioned stumbling on words. Well, I just stumbled on a word there. I think that you might have taken her a little bit deeper by talking about the dramatic arc. She has given us an extremely dramatic story, but the story is sort of told in the same tonality. She doesn't build up. And so you might want to think about what would have been the high point or the dramatic the most dramatic, intense part? Would that have been when she was going in to get that gun or thinking about getting that gun? And then maybe suggesting to her a way in which she could now like take us into that other place. So that would be the main suggestion that I would make, is looking at her speech in terms of the dramatic arc. And sometimes, not so much here, but when we start speaking in person again, you can use the stage space for past, or the storyline. The left being the beginning, and the middle being the middle, and then the end, and then you come back in for your final point, which was her call to action. So that would be another thing that you could mention. She's not standing, but are you standing, Maureen? So Maureen was standing, so that might have been another thing, is to talk about her use of the stage. And the use of the stage is valuable in that it really chops up the story into 3 points. So it's easy to remember where you're going and where your crescendo or your apex is of your story. But overall, Andrea, you did a fabulous job. Great job, all of you. Thank you, Deborah, for keeping the time. And any questions before we move on to table topics? Any questions? Everybody good? Any comments? Anything else you want to make? Deborah, do you want to make any comments on any of the speeches, or anybody comments on Deborah's? Let's, open this up for, I guess we call it a round robin, and we don't usually do it, and it's not a full 3 minutes, but if you have any other suggestions for our speakers, it would be appreciated.
Yeah, for Maureen, I would like to know about, I know your feelings were very, very deep about wanting to not be here, but why? I wanted to know more about the why. Because what about being in the numbers world was so painful? Was there something else contributing to that?
Good point, Deborah.
Love to know that.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any comments for Deborah? That was really good, Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really appreciated, Deborah, the story about what it was like for you and how intuition laid into when you broke your nose. That was a very vivid story. I thought you did a great job with bringing us into the story, as well as the gestures and the descriptive language.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. This is really, really helpful to get all of you to share. Andrea, do you have any more comments or any additional comments that you would like to share?
Well, Deb, I really try to listen to my body. That's an ongoing, and my intuition, that's sort of an ongoing battle for me too. I tend to just separate and just, start working. And so I could really relate to all of that. And, I just wanted to, let you know how much I appreciated hearing you speak about that and sharing that. It requires a lot of vulnerability, and that's doesn't always come easy, and that means a lot to be a listener and hear someone share that. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. Is there any feedback about my closing? Any suggestions about, was the better closing, or?
My main suggestion to you, Deborah, is to give yourself more time so that you can really develop that closing, and
Okay.
set people up too. So what maybe you found that what works for you in getting, you might, because you've been telling your stories thus far, that what you found that really works to getting your intuition online is breathing. And you might not even ask or do it really short, so it doesn't have to be long. It's like, try it right now. you can just take one deep, slow, relaxing breath and
Mm.
see what shows up. And then I don't know what would be the final call to action. If you want to know more about the techniques that I use to reconnect with my intuition after being closed off and a people pleaser, please reach out to me.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
does that help?
Yes.
And gosh, there was one, I had another idea for you, Maureen, but I can't remember what it is. Let's see, maybe it'll come back. Yeah, I really wanted to know, I think that Andrea said this too. I really wanted to know more about how your connection with the spiritual world stopped I mean, certainly the teacher saying, you know, it might not stop your pain. That was powerful. But then how does that relate to the spiritual practice? So you could work a little bit more on bringing that out, because I think that might be, it's one thing to say yourself, I don't want to kill myself. I mean, because it might not end the pain, but sometimes the pain gets so great. How do you, the spiritual practice, I'm imagining, was what helped you to deal with your pain and reduce the pain. So you didn't have a desire to kill yourself anymore. But both of you, powerful, really vulnerable, and really excellent use of body language and facial expression on both, on all of you.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have 10 more minutes, maybe time for 1 or 2 table topics. So who would like to do a 2-minute table topics? Anybody? Or do you want to do something else? Yes, Maureen, yay. Okay, so my question is, now that we are moving out, we are moving back into social closing as opposed to social distancing, what are some of the first things you are looking forward to, or have you already tried, since we've been told that those of us who have had vaccines can start to connect with people? And who's going to time this? I can time it. What is this? 2 minutes? 2 minutes, yes. Okay. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Life beyond COVID. I don't know about you, but it has been quite a journey for me. I never was really afraid of getting the illness. I actually think I had COVID in December of 2019. And because inherently I trust my immune system, I believe that even if I were to get the illness, I think I would be okay and survive it. I don't mean to discount anybody out there who has had it, who has had a family member that had it. I believe the illness is real, and I also believe it is life-threatening. This is just my personal interpretation of what it is. I already have had a few interactions with girlfriends. Those are the things that are most important to me. I have 2 communities that have been my lifeline, both in person and out of person. One is my group of women that I've been together for 20 years, and another is a polka dot powerhouse. It's a community a networking community that we call ourselves a sisterhood. Although it was a challenge, it wasn't an easy choice to make. I did get the vaccine. I got the Johnson & Johnson. So I'm living to the protocol of what it is like to be out in the world vaccinated. The whole mask thing is an interesting thing for me. You know, the mask, the wear it, I think I'm still living in the habit of wearing the mask, not wearing the mask. I do it actually more for other people than I even do for myself. And to wrap up, I continue to want to be in community with the women that I am so close to. I continue to support my immune system and do what's best for it. And I pay attention to what works for other people.
Thank you, Maureen. Awesome. So does anybody else want to share the same story? I mean, talk about the same topic or something else about how you are navigating that transition from social distancing and lockdown to opening up. You can talk about your own experience or maybe your philosophy about that, or how you feel about our country opening up.
I do.
Okay, great.
Okay. Tell me when to start.
Go ahead.
I feel somewhat like Maureen in the fact that I never really felt that I was going to ever get COVID. I also think I also had COVID in December of 2019. I went to Disneyland with a group of female friends, and we were staying in a hotel room all together, the four of us, and one of the girls was really sick. And I'm sleeping next to her and she's coughing and then, there was the plane ride home and nobody's wearing masks at that point yet. And I was more sick than I think I've ever been when I got home and had to get, a shot and antibiotics. And then, COVID came a couple months later. And of course, I am wearing a mask when I need to. And I did travel with some female friends. Well, one female friend who actually, she's a nurse who's traveled more than anybody I know during COVID, has never gotten sick, and has, luckily not known anyone that's gotten COVID either, none of her patients, but I am really happy. I also have gotten the shots because I didn't want to, but I have, so that I can travel, and my husband and boys have gotten it. And so I'm doing it, and I did get the Pfizer shot, and I did have a reaction for a while, but I took some Tylenol and it went away. So I believe that, masks are here to stay in certain situations, and I'll wear one when I have to, but I am hoping that this virus will eventually dissipate, and that less and less people will get it, and that we'll all be safe, and that we'll be able to be back to the new normal at some point coming soon. Yeah.
Great.
So we won't be meeting on the 31st of May.
Right.
Anybody calling in to say, where's the meeting?
Right. Also, I would like to ask again that anyone who wants a little help or wants to lend a little help, please get in touch and let's get this mentorship momentum. Would anyone like to belly up to the Toastmasters bar for next meeting and this time slot? So that's June 7th. Anybody interested in being our Toastmaster for that day, that evening?
Kadisha has her hand up.
Who?
Thanks.
Kadisha.
Kadisha.
Thanks, Isaac.
Thank you.
All
Yes.
Go girl, I'm so
right.
happy. Oh, we're gonna have a good meeting, I can tell from here. How about, I would just like to get a couple of more, if I can, volunteers, one for general evaluator. Anybody interested?
And what else you got there?
Whoops. The other morsel for grabs is table topics master.
So table topics and your general evaluator. Did you
Is
want to
this for-
volunteer?
Is this for June 7th, Kathleen?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yes, ma'am.
I can do the table topic master
Oh,
person.
wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
Deborah
But can I
has-
speak too, or no?
Not sure what
I only
position.
can do one or the other?
No, well, yes, you could. You could.
'Cause
If we have
I'm
a main
overdue.
room.
But
If
I
we
could
have a
do
main
table
room-
topics. If she's speaking, I could do table topics.
But there you go.
Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. I don't know how many speakers we have yet. So
Oh,
we'll have
okay.
to check and see. And in the the main room, or you can do this, the Speechcraft room. If you're still working on level 2, then you'd probably do the Speechcraft room.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, then we definitely have room for you there. So you're there.
Okay.
And Rosemary is the table topics. Anyone for general evaluator?
You know, the tyrant Carolyn can do it again.
Yeah.
You
Cynthia,
gave us such a great evaluation. I mean, it was smart and wonderful. It was great, Carolyn.
Cynthia,
Cynthia, what
just
did
to
you wanna
know,
say?
yeah, Deb Weiner actually raised her hand for table topics before Michelle.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay.
well, we have,
So then let Deb Weiner go ahead.
Was that not correct, Deborah? You're muted.
Does this mean I'm table topics in a breakout room or for
No,
the?
in the main room.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Okay. And then Rosemary, then can you be the general evaluator?
That's okay.
Okay.
oh,
You got
good.
them all filled then.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy.
Great.
All right, so I will turn the lectern over to our president for
And your
announcement.
information is in the chat, right?
What'd you
Your
say, my dear?
Your information is in the chat,
That is
right?
correct, yes.
Okay.
The
I'll
email.
reach out to you specifically, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we're ready for takeaway and chocolates and announcements. Well, announcements are that May 31st is Memorial Day, and it's also the 5th Monday of the month, so we don't meet. We have a week off. Woohoo! And we'll be meeting the next time in the evening is June 7th. We'll be meeting next week in the afternoon from 11 to 1 p.m. We also, if you want to be an official member of the executive committee, we would love to have you nominate yourself or nominate someone else, as long as you check with them first by next Sunday, May 23rd. And we will also be taking nominations from the floor on June 7th. And we also would love to have more team members of the greeter team, more team members of the Zoom host team, more Zoom members of the membership team and the VPE team and the VPPR team. They're all open, and the president. I'd love to have somebody on my team with me as president and training you to be president next year would be awesome, like an internship. We have lots of projects to be done. So many hands make light work. And June 7th, mark your calendars. We need to have a, what do they call it?
Quorum.
Quorum. Thank you. Which is like 50% plus one of our members. Yeah. So we need a lot of people to show up, at least 25 members. On June 7th at 12 p.m. And we promise you, we'll be out by 20 minutes. Because if we even have a couple people running for the floor, we'll have time for that. So we're going to do it really fast and get you in and out. And sorry, you won't have any virtual chocolates or takeaways from that meeting. I got a complaint last time we did it. So it's June 7th. 12 p.m. to 12:20 p.m. and we will be out at 12:20 p.m. Guaranteed.
So
Okay.
what are we doing, Cynthia, at that time at 12?
We're electing our officers. So far, we don't have any new people, any changes. So it's going to be a slate. So that'd be really fast. If there are more nominations, we have plenty of time for that too. They get 2 minutes and to nominate for the floor and to share who you are and what you want to do. So June 7th, 12 p.m. to 12:20 p.m. to vote, and at least 50% of us need to be there. So I'll be calling you and texting you and making sure you're going to show up.
And Cynthia, Cynthia, can I ask a
Yes.
question? We're still meeting in the evening for our regular meeting, is that correct?
Yes, we are meeting in the evening for a regular meeting on June 7th. We decided not to do it on Memorial Day. We didn't think you want to take us to your Memorial Day picnic. We'd be worse than ants, disturbing your fun. And so we're going to meet noon, 12 to 2, 12:20 p.m. June 7th. And then again, we're meeting at 5:30 for global networking, and 6 p.m. for our meeting goes till 8 p.m. all on June 7th. So you'll see us a lot that day, but at least it won't be consecutive. So you won't be like zoomed out.
Do we
Great.
need to register for that, like
Yes, you
online,
do.
or do we just get a link sent to us?
I think we're going to register for
Yes,
that
ma'am,
because
we are going to register.
all right. You heard.
So Linda, are you going to use your own Zoom account for this so that we don't get it?
Let's take that offline.
Okay.
Offline. Okay. So any more business? Any more announcements? Nope. Okay. So we could love to have you share your takeaway and get in a virtual chocolate. So do we have any members left who would like to share what your experience was, what you're taking away?
You still have 3 guests.
3
share.
guests. And the first one?
You have Andrea.
Andrea, would you like to share?
Well, I had another fabulous time in the Speechcraft room. I just enjoy so much meeting everyone. I've had the opportunity to meet different people every time. I so much enjoyed hearing Deb and Maureen speak today and doing an evaluation for the first time. And Michelle gave amazing feedback. So I got a lot to grow off of and had fun. So
Great.
good day.
Awesome. Would you like a chocolate?
Oh, yes.
Virtual chocolate? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Woohoo! Here it comes. All right. No calories. Just want to make sure we didn't get.
Then you have Veronica.
Veronica, would you like to share? Veronica?
She's my guest and she will not speak.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have,
Maybe next time.
yeah, we have Federica.
Frederica, our recurring guest. I love it. Would you like to share?
Give me permission to stay off video.
Oh,
But
yeah, sure.
Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. I did enjoy the meeting. I came in at the time when Swana was giving her speech. DTM is a journey, not a destination. So this really blessed my heart. And I wish I had gotten a chance to go into the breakout room, to the speechcraft, but I came in too late. But I enjoyed every bit of it. Thanks.
Awesome. Would you like a virtual chocolate?
Just send that.
I'll send it now. Woohoo! Awesome. Anyone else want to share? I'm
Just
sorry.
real quick, Frederica, if you ever want to go into the Speechcraft room, just let me know either through a private message or whatever, and I'll make sure you get there.
Okay, I will next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we could have used an extra timer, so please join us.
Yes, I'll do next time.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Anyone else want to share? Khadijah, you haven't been here for a while. What would you like to share? Oh, no, she's on mute.
Oh,
I had stepped away briefly.
Ah,
It's great to be back. It's great to be back. I've just been a little bit busy with my schedule, but did I say, oh my gosh, I forgot to pause. Great to be back. Thank you.
You're welcome. Would you like a chocolate?
Yes, please.
Would you? There you go.
Thank you.
Always have time for chocolate. Anyone else want to share? Sally, how about you having a share?
Where's Sally?
Did she leave?
Sally's not here, but Michelle had her hand up.
Oh, great. Michelle.
So I think I'm finally getting the hang of the breakout room. We divvied up the timing, which was a huge improvement for me because then I wasn't trying to do so many things. And it was the speeches were amazing. And I don't know if these people are working with you, Cynthia, but boy, the vulnerability is amazing, and the storytelling and they're I've just seen so much improvement in the speeches of the two speakers.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was really impressed with our evaluator, our brand new evaluator for her first time. She did excellently because she talked about all the good things that were going on first. And so many times the big mistake that new evaluators make is they give you all the wrong things. So she did really well.
great. That's awesome. Love to hear it. Would you like a chocolate?
You bet.
Taufik had me send him a whole box the other day. He misses his chocolates and Leaders Worldwide. He's been really busy with COVID over in Bahrain. They're having a terrible time with it. So send your love for him. And he yeah, so tough. Anyone else like to share? Oh, Michelle, I know you have to leave. How about Maureen?
What's interesting for me is how different the speech was this was my first level 1 speech the second time around. And it's like, so what I took away was spend more time reviewing the speech and practicing, because what came out of my mouth this time was very different than what came out of my mouth last time. I also really appreciated both of the evaluators, especially Michelle, all the details and what she gave for me to step into as a new possibility for what my speech can be. I really appreciated it. And I like the breakout room, the small community of it. We can really have a lot more interaction than in the bigger room. So that's great for us newer bees on this journey.
Yes, I think that gives a good balance to our global visibility in the main room, and then the intimacy in the speechcraft room. Excellent. Congratulations on your speech. You want a chocolate?
Sure.
All right, here you go. Great. And Debbie, would you like to share what your experience was?
I really enjoyed being in the breakout room too. And I did get to experience being a timer too. Again, even though we didn't give the times, but I was timing. So I found some Post-it notes that worked. And I really enjoyed having the opportunity to speak. And then I enjoyed the feedback. That was really nice. And then Michelle did table topics too. I mean, I didn't even know we were doing that. And so I enjoyed that feedback from Andrea, from Michelle. It was great. Maureen. So I enjoyed it. I like the breakout rooms too, the smaller,
Intimate. Yes. Awesome. Yeah, and in the breakout rooms, you have more opportunity to do table topics as well, because you get to do 2 or 3 table topics, and we have that for the whole group out here. So it's great to be in the breakout room. Anyone else have their hand up, Linda?
Yes, Swarna does.
Swarna.
Hi, thank you so much to our EXCO, as we call the committee, the president, the VPE and VPPR, VPM, everyone. I just got a message as I'm speaking. I just saw an email. Thank you, Kathleen. You have recommended me for the OATM and they have acknowledged it. So thank you so much.
OATM, Outstanding Achievement Toastmaster Award. All right. And you got a triple crown, and you're going to get a DTM. My goodness, the triple crown this year.
So thank you so much. It's been a great journey, and today I'm giving my DTM project speech. I'm like Linda, we are just waiting for the term to finish to get our DTM. So, so that's where we are. Thank you so much. Very, very encouraging committee who help us to bloom. And for me, I can say I have really bloomed. Thank you so much.
Great. awesome. Outstanding Toastmasters. Everyone in Leaders Worldwide is an outstanding Toastmaster, but there is that award that they recognize. You want your chocolate? All right. And I think I forgot to give Debbie her chocolate. Debbie, do you
Yes,
want
I
your
would like a
chocolate?
chocolate. Yes, I love
Yeah.
chocolate. How about a
Yes,
dark
me.
chocolate, please? Yes.
Here's two. Okay.
Thank you.
Ready? 1, 2.
Hey, where's my chocolate? I don't get a chocolate, please.
You want to share?
What?
A quick share?
Sure. This was really my first time in doing humor, and I'm so sorry that I ran over time. I had lost my speech. I put it on my phone, and I had to retype it all over again. So I'm really sorry, but I'm not an
No.
humorous person.
It was great.
No,
You are
it all
forgiven.
works.
Thank
It
you.
all works, and it was
No problem.
hilarious. So for your
Yes,
first
really
humor speech,
funny.
that's amazing. It was really hilarious. I could hear Sally laughing all the time.
She was having a good time.
Yeah,
And
I
here's
had to
your
mute
chocolate.
myself or I
Thank
would
you.
have been obnoxious.
There you go. Did you catch it? Good. Okay, we always deliver at Leaders Worldwide. Thank you very much. That was another amazing meeting, and we're closing right on time, 8 o'clock. Have a good night.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Everybody.